Hello again. Well, I just received and read a little email from WorldNet Daily. The title, Top Conservative Hits Obama on Fatal Scandal. And fatal is in quotations. And what this article is about, it's about Rush Limbaugh. And it's about the call that he received from a caller that I made mention of earlier on, where they drew the connection between what's happening at the VA and the tie-in to the Affordable Care Act. What the article says is that at the present time, they've assumed they found at least 100 victims that were sentenced to death because they weren't provided the health care that they should have been provided. Now, what's interesting is in one of my previous videos, I had made mention that I had heard that a doctor in private practice sees 8 times as many patients as a doctor that works for the VA. And I gave a reason as to why that is. So, in essence, nobody needed to die. They all could have been looked after. Their health concerns could have all been dealt with. What was the missing component? Well, the doctor's willingness to work. The doctors at the VA get a paycheck from the government. They don't have to worry about seeing a lot of patients. The fewer patients that they see, the better off they are. The less stressed they are from going to work. The system doesn't work when you have the government controlling any kind of business element, especially healthcare. Now, if this isn't a wake-up call to the American people to demand that this insanity has to stop, well, nothing will wake them up. All that has to happen is the VA doctors have got to start performing and seeing as many patients as doctors do in private practice within their respective fields of experience. A dermatologist, a gynecologist, a surgeon, they all have to be compared to their folks that work in private industry. And if they did that, there'd be no shortfall. You wouldn't have to have a list because they'd all be able to be seen and looked after. So who's really to blame for those deaths other than our government? So are these doctors that took a hypocritical oath. And the reason that is because if they performed the way they would have in private practice, none of this would have happened. Would it have? I don't think so. What do you think? You think that if the doctors at the VA work like doctors in private practice, none of this would have happened? Tell me where I'm wrong, as Bill O'Reilly would say. You can't you?